Welcome back, painting friends. Today we are going to paint a Friendsgiving with my Gnomies, and it's a request for 3 little cute gnomes with Thanksgiving stuff. So colors you're going to need: red, orange, yellow, green, brown, black, and white. I always have my favorite 4 brushes at the studio. I've got my 1-inch flat brush, my 10, 6, and 1 round brush. Don't forget to have a cup of water and a rag for keeping those brushes clean. Remember, if you like what you're seeing today, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you are kept up to date on all of my tutorials. So let's get started. I'm going to actually start with a pencil today, not something I normally do, but I wanted to try this masking background. So I'll kind of explain that to you as we go. But a gnome is really just, it's a circle. I'm sorry, it's an oval. That's an oval, not a circle. It's an oval. And then from there, there's usually a frumpy little hat that kind of goes down over the top of that nose. And then that hat will just kind of wave and weave up to wherever you want it to end. From there, his little gnome beards, they just kind of wave down. And you can make them wave or you can give them some jagged edges, your choice. And then from there, it's just 2 little loops for his feet. And then his hands are usually just kind of curved lines off to the edge of the beard. And if you need to, you can even add some lines for his legs. So I'm going to make 3 of these gnomes. So same thing: oval nose, waved line, frumpy hat, beard, feet and hands. Now that these are on here, we're going to add some interesting designs to the hat. So this one over here is going to have actually this one and this one are both going to have a plaid texture. So I'm going to paint in the yellow. That's my lightest color first. Now you want to work pretty quick, because what you're going to do next is you're going to take a little bit of orange paint on your yellow brush and you're going to make lines that go straight down. Okay. And the reason I did this first is because you can actually go outside of the lines on your gnome hat, because we are going to be filling the background in black. So after I have that done, I can wipe my brush off, get some of that yellow off, and go in with just straight orange and make my lines that go across this way. Perfect. So our other gnome hat on the other side, the other plaid one, is going to be orange with red plaid. I'm going to fill it in with orange. I'm going to go in with orange on my brush and red on my brush. And then I'll wipe that off and add just the red. Now the center guy here, I'm just going to make a light green color. So I'm going to mix some yellow and green together on my palette. And you can always just use straight green if you want, but I really like bright green colors. A little bit of yellow and green mixed together for a nice light green. As far as his gnome nose goes, I don't want to make it totally straight brown. So I'm just going to add a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, and a little bit of red together. And that red's just to give it that rosy feel to it. And then we're going to paint all three of their noses in with that brownish rose color that I just made. So a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, a little bit of red. I'm going to take that same color I just mixed, add a little bit more brown to it, and we're going to make that for his little gnome boots. You can make your gnome boots different colors. I'm going to keep mine the same colors. As far as gnome pants go, I'm going to give this guy some dark green pants. I just want their pants to match their hat, okay? So this guy's going to have some dark green. Red hat's going to have some red pants. I'm going to use the same color brown I used on their boots for their hands as well. Got little mittens on. So the next part I'm going to do, I'm going to bump myself in speed motion for because it's going to take a while, okay? I'm going to paint their beards plain white. Then I'm going to take my black paint and I'm going to go all the way around each of these hats very closely just to kind of clean up those lines. And then I am going to paint the entire background black. So I have to be kind of careful going around each of these gnomes and their hats so that I don't mess it up. But I am going to paint the entire background black and all of their little gnome beards white. All right, speed motion time. I did go ahead and let my background dry so that it's good to go to add some fun more details in. Here's one thing I want you to look at is if you need to add any touch-ups of white or any touch-ups of black, this is a good time to do it. So if you feel like maybe your beard's a little bit too narrow, you can fatten that beard up a little bit. So you got all the choices right now to kind of fatten up any part of that gnome you need fattened up or clean up any of those black parts. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to paint a couple of leaves around them and then we'll finish off with our words. So I'm going to go in with white paint and then maybe a little bit of yellow or red with it. So I've got some yellow on my brush and I'm just going to make some leaves just kind of floating around. Now, I think the easiest leaves to do is this right here. And all that is it is two colors and then it is a smiley face and a frowny face. You paint them in and you have a leaf. Another option you can do, and this time I'll do it with some orange paint, so I've got some white and orange on my brush, is you can make a skinny little line and then you can just make some spots of color going down that line and then you have another different type of leaf. The last one I'm going to show you, let me grab some white. I'm adding white to my brush because the black is such a dark background, it might not show up if we just use the color by itself. So this time I've got red and white, and this one I'm going to make a line down the center, and then I'm going to do like a wavy line down that center. So I've got this, and I'm just going to kind of bump in and out, going all the way down the edge of that line. Now with all of these, we are going to add a little bit of detail to them at the end, but these are the three different types of leaves I'm going to add. I'm going to bump myself into speed motion and just make a whole bunch of them all over the place. Now let's talk about what these gnomes are going to be holding. You can have your gnomes hold anything you want. Over here, I'm going to put a pumpkin. So I've got my number 6 round brush. I'm just going to get a little divot in the top and a rounded bottom. Go ahead and paint that in. Part of it's going to be behind his hands, how he's holding it. And so for a pumpkin, I can add a little bit of yellow to the top and just start here and just kind of make like little spider lines down. Spider lines are lines that kind of remind me of spider legs, right? So we're starting up here at the top and just kind of bringing those down. And even add a little bit of white at the very top for a little bit more of a highlight. And then at the bottom, we can grab just a little bit of brown and a little bit of orange on the brush together. So just a little bit of a darker orange color. I can do the same thing from the bottom going up. Wipe that brush off, and then I like to use, when I use skinny little black lines, I like to water my paint down. Again, I still have my number 6 round brush, but if I'm very careful, I can make the skinniest little black lines to help it read as a pumpkin. There we go. Throw a little green topper on, maybe even a little bit of a dark green, so I'm adding a little bit of brown to my green. Add a little bit of a vine. Adorable. This guy over here is also going to be holding a pumpkin, but this guy in the middle is going to be holding a big, huge leaf. So you have to decide what color leaf you want him to hold. I think I'm going to make it a yellow leaf. So I've got some yellow on my number 6 round brush. And I'm going to make it be, a big leaf, like ridiculously sized, right? But I'm going to take a little bit of red in there. So wipe that brush off, grab a little bit of red. You could even make this a football too. Same shape, right? And we all know it happens on Thanksgiving. Football. Wipe that brush off, go back in with that yellow to start really blending that from that yellow to that red color. Again, with the skinny black line, so watered down black paint. And go ahead and make my center line right down the center here. A couple of little leaf lines in there. And then my pumpkin for the other side, same as the one over there. Whenever I do letters, I like to have my canvas lay flat when I'm painting them. So let me pop my painting off of my easel and we'll talk about adding those letters in. Now, you can always choose to use a paint marker. I don't have a white paint marker down in the studio, so I'm just going to go with my paint. You can have it be any color you want, but just remember that if you have a black background, you're going to want to probably lighten that color up. So it's going to say Friendsgiving with my Gnomies. So I'm going to take yellow and white on my number 6 round brush, and I'm just going to write my word Friendsgiving up here. Even add a little bit of red to my brush, just to give it a small, fun little highlight. And there we have it, Friendsgiving with my Gnomies. Make sure that when you finish, you find a color that's going to show up on your canvas and sign your name. I always put my name in the bottom right corner. Remember, I never get to see what you're painting at home unless you post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you're kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And remember, as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Now, I also forgot that I wanted to add some details to these, so I'm just going to make these lines down the center. Sometimes I think I'm finished, and then I look again and realize that I'm not. And I think I'm going to add a small highlight to some of my gnome pieces. So wash that brush off, grab some white paint. Top of his nose, I'm going to make a cute little highlight. Maybe even some down the side of his hat. I think even on the letters up here, just a little bit of highlight. Oh, much better. There we go. Now I feel like it's finished. All right, have a great day, friends. Bye now.